Now let's talk about how to sell without selling. So how do we actually make the sales process so much more fun and enjoyable for both parties, for your end, for your business, and also for the person interested in buying your offer. So how do we sell without selling? Now, sales and the act of selling is something so important in every single business. It doesn't matter what you sell, it doesn't matter what product, what offer, what service that you sell. We got to know how to sell. We got to be comfortable with selling. We got to be excited to sell. But very often, the act of selling, the sales process, becomes so complicated, becomes so difficult for a lot of entrepreneurs, whether it's because of a lack of confidence or a lack of knowledge on how to sell, or just a lot of feelings around the act of selling, really uncomfortable with the act of selling. And so let's talk about how to sell without selling. How do we get someone to buy something and feel happy that they just bought and just did a transaction with our business? Now, I want to share a story from my childhood that has really shaped how I sell today. Now, it's not always been an easy process for me when it comes to selling. I gotta admit that for years I struggled with the act of selling, feeling really uncomfortable with getting someone to buy something, with trying to promote my stuff. But over the years I've worked on it, and my childhood experience has really helped me with the act of selling. So let me touch more on that. Now, before I share my story, I want to invite you to a free online event that I'm running next week called Build an Unshakable Business 5-day experience. It's 100% free. I've invited 6 experts in the fields of business, mindset, health, confidence, branding to come and join me for 5 days, and you'll get to learn from them. It's a live coaching experience. So every single day for 5 days, you'll learn from a total of 7 experts, myself included. We'll be sharing everything on how you can build an unshakable business. So go check out the link in the description below, or go to mindfieldcommunity.com. The link to sign up for the free event is gonna be on the homepage itself. All right, let's dive into my childhood story. Now, this is really interesting. So a couple of days ago, I was out running and I was listening to a podcast, and I was listening to how this entrepreneur was describing his childhood selling things, right? He was selling different things when he was a child. He's always been an entrepreneur, and I deeply identified with that. And as he was sharing his story, I began to think about my own story as a child back in school, when I used to sell things to my friends, to classmates, to friends of friends, things like football cards, trading cards, toys, things that I found at home, things that I found outside, things that I would buy and then I resell, sweets and all that stuff. As I was thinking about my own experience as a childhood entrepreneur and, being this little Christabel trying to sell things, I remembered how easy selling felt like, how simple, how there wasn't a resistance to selling back then. Because when I was a kid, selling was fun. I was excited about the idea of earning extra cash. I was excited about the idea of buying something and then someone else would buy it. And I didn't put much thought into the act of selling. So I didn't go like, oh, if I were to buy these football cards, how am I going to get them into my sales funnel? How am I going to, attract traffic? How, what's my upsell? What's my downsell? I didn't think about that. All I thought about was, I know my friends like football, and I know they're collecting football trading cards, and I know where to get them for a discount in bulk. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out there and I'm going to buy those football trading cards, and I'm going to sell them piece by piece and earn my cash, right? Just earn a profit from it. I was like 10 years old back then. So I wasn't really thinking about, all right, once they buy it, how can I, sell the next one to them? How can I upsell them? No, it was just like, okay, you buy this. And then once I've earned enough, I go buy something else and then I sell it again, right? I know what they like. I had an offer for them. And so that was the process, right? It was selling without selling. I wasn't thinking about, all right, how am I going to get them into my funnel? How am I going to convert them? How am I going to keep them? How, loyalty program and all that stuff. It was really simple. That was childhood time, 10 years old, 11 years old, 9 years old. Now, as I got older and I became a real entrepreneur, and I'm doing that air quote thing if you're listening to the podcast, when I became a real entrepreneur as an adult, suddenly selling didn't seem so easy anymore, right? Selling became something where you would sit down and you would try to break down the funnels. Like, you would start from like, what's my lead magnet? What's the lead generation? What's the traffic? What, the cold traffic, the warm traffic, the hot traffic. How am I going to get all of them in? What's the nurture sequence, the email sequence? How many times do I have to send out that email about my thing to get them to buy? How am I going to A/B test it? What's the optimization rate? What's the click-through rate? How can I maximize the click-through rate? How many times do I need to call that person? If I send out 5 emails, is it enough? Do I need the 6th, the 7th, the 8th time before they say yes? Suddenly selling didn't become so fun anymore. Selling became this thing. It became a guessing game. I would sit there and I would start to guess and analyze and look at the stats and the numbers and try to look at all the different ways to get people to buy. It just didn't become fun and easy with flow. Because honestly, if we look at the act of selling, running a business, getting a sale, it is actually a very simple thing, right? You sell something that somebody wants, they buy it, and that's it. But the marketers in us, I've always been a marketer my entire life. We always look at something and we're like, how can we make this better? And by better, I mean more complicated. So, my first lesson to you on how to sell without selling is go back to the time when selling was just a fun process. If you were a kid who sold things like a juice, like an orange juice, if you sold toys or sweets or cookies or baked goods and all that stuff when you were a kid, try to go back to that time when you were selling things and it didn't feel like it was a burden, a hassle, a complicated thing. If you used to sell things for like your church or an organization, I remember doing all those things. Selling was so easy. You just have the product, you go out there and say, hey, do you want to buy it? Right? This is what it is. This is what's for, and here's why you need it. Very simple. So that's advice number one. Go back and remember that feeling around selling when you were a kid. Something so innocent, so fun, without any sense of how do I make this better? Oh my God, oh my God. And you overanalyze it, right? That's the problem. You overanalyze it. So that's number one. Keep it simple, keep it fun, keep it like you were when you were a kid selling something. Now back to my childhood story. So the more I noticed that my friends really enjoyed buying things from me when it's about football, football cards, football models, I realized that's what they wanted to buy. And so I bought more of it, right? I bought more of it in bulk and I started to sell them. So that's kind of just the principle of selling as well. You notice what people like to buy from you, whether that's a particular service, a particular topic that you always like to talk about, and they pay more attention to it. What is it that people like to buy from you, hear from you, talk to you about, and sell more of it? It's as simple as that, right? When you've got a service or an offer, you got an idea in your head, and you don't know if people will buy, just go back and ask yourself, is this something that people have been buying from me frequently? Is the format of it, the topic around what I sell, and then just sell more of it, right? Sell different variations of it. So advice number two is just do a quick inventory of what people are buying from you right now. What are the things that you're known for, people are paying you for, and then start to sell more of it. So those are two ways on how to sell without selling, or how to sell without feeling like selling is complicated, difficult, a pain in the ass, difficult to do. How to sell without selling. Now, let me know in the comments below. Do you struggle with selling? Is it something easy for you? Do you sell with ease? Or have you always felt like selling was something that you were just hesitant about and you really didn't kind of like it, but you have no choice because you run a business and you gotta sell? So let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. And if you have not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button as well. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video, and don't forget to go sign up for Build an Unshakable Business 5-day experience that starts next Monday. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video.